Hello and welcome to Tid Bits. In this season of spookiness, we cannot help but think of Edgar Allan Poe. Nevermore. Who has read his short stories and poetry and not been struck by the psychological terror and claustrophobic horror of his fiction? Poe was fascinated by death. It permeated his writing, and yet the cause of his death remains a mystery. Many theories have been proposed over the years about his cause of death, including delirium tremens, heart disease, epilepsy, syphilis, cholera, meningeal inflammation, rabies, and cooping. On October 3, 1849, Poe was found delirious and incoherent on the streets of Baltimore. A note from Joseph Walker was sent to Dr. Joseph Snodgrass. This was the first indication of Poe's whereabouts after he left Richmond on September 27th to travel to Philadelphia. Baltimore City, October 3, 1849. Dear Sir, there is a gentleman, rather the worse for wear, at Ryan's 4th Ward polls, who goes under the cognomen of Edgar A. Poe, and who appears in great distress. He says he is acquainted with you. He is in need of immediate assistance. Yours in haste, Joseph W. Walker, to Dr. J. E. Snodgrass. The newspapers at the time gave accounts of Poe dying from congestion of the brain and cerebral inflammation. These descriptions point to the fact that Poe's central nervous system was under attack from a viral disease. Rabies bears close examination as a possible cause of his death. In an article published by the Maryland Medical Journal, September 1996, Dr. R. Michael Benitez was asked to review and make a diagnosis of Poe's case based on the available facts. He was not given the name, but knew that it was an older case. There was no lab work. Dr. Benitez compared descriptions of the unknown patient's on and off delirium to the condition found in other diseases such as epilepsy, malaria, yellow fever, vascular disorders, alcohol, and opiate withdrawal. In his opinion, the delirium matched that of rabies encephalitis. Dr. Benitez wrote that rabies encephalitis is marked by the acute onset of confusion, hallucinations, combativeness, muscle spasms, and seizures. Between episodes, patients may be calm and lucid. The disease is almost always lethal. Median survival from the onset of overt symptoms is 4 days. Poe died within 4 days of his admittance to Washington College Hospital in Baltimore. No autopsy was performed, and he was buried at Westminster Presbyterian Church. It was noted that Poe was offered alcohol during his stay in the hospital, which he refused. Poe was also given water, which he could not consume. Rabies causes intense spasms of the throat when swallowing is attempted. Although there is no mention of Poe coming into contact with rabid animals, the incubation for the disease generally ranges from 2 to 8 weeks. Poe loved cats and could have been bitten by a household pet well before his trip to Philadelphia. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle acknowledged Poe's influence on his work by saying, "Where was a detective story until Poe breathed the breath of life into it?" Every year, the Mystery Writers of America present the Edgar Award to an author for notable work in mystery fiction. In this scary season, check out Edgar Allan Poe's books from the library and let his work live evermore.